Admiral Patricia Hayes stood in the command center on Earth, looking at displays that showed the entire galaxy. 6 months had passed since humanity had awakened to their true heritage. 6 months since the Coalition had made the worst mistake in galactic history. The war was over. Not because both sides had agreed to peace, but because one side no longer had the power to fight. "Admiral, we're receiving surrender requests from 4 more systems," reported Commander Ben Davis, her chief of staff. "The Thaxian Republic wants to negotiate. The Mordian Collective is asking for mercy terms. Even some Zephyrian worlds are requesting human protection." Patricia nodded but did not smile. Victory had come at a cost, not in human lives, thankfully. The predecessor technology had made Coalition weapons almost useless against human forces. But the cost had been in trust, in the hope for peaceful cooperation, in the dream of a galaxy united by friendship rather than fear. Captain Jake Morrison appeared on the main communication screen. He was calling from the predecessor Dreadnought Destiny, a ship so large it could carry an entire city. The vessel had been built by ancient machines in just 2 weeks, using technology that seemed to violate the laws of physics. "Admiral, the Krugan Empire has sent their final response," Jake reported. His voice was tired. Leading humanity's transformation from victims to galactic rulers had aged him. "Emperor Thakgor refuses to surrender. He says the Krugan people would rather die than serve under human leadership." Patricia had expected this. The Krugans were the most aggressive species in the Coalition. They had been the ones pushing hardest for humanity's destruction. They were too proud to admit they had lost. "Jake, are you ready to proceed with containment?" she asked. Jake was quiet for a moment. Patricia could see the weight of responsibility on his shoulders. The predecessor technology gave humanity the power to do things that had never been done before. They could move entire star systems. They could freeze time itself in localized areas. They could reshape the basic laws of physics. "The temporal isolation chamber is ready," Jake confirmed. "Dr. Wells has checked the calculations 3 times. The Krugan home system will be removed from normal time flow. From our perspective, it will simply vanish. From their perspective, time will stop moving forward. And they can be released later if they change their minds. The process is reversible. When they're ready to accept the new galactic order, we can bring them back into normal time." Patricia made the decision that would define her place in history. "Do it." Jake gave the order to his crew. The Destiny moved into position near the Krugan home system. Caroline Wells, now serving as humanity's chief technology officer, activated systems that the predecessors had built to control time itself. Space around the Krugan system began to shimmer. The stars started to fade. The planets slowed in their orbits. Within minutes, the entire system had vanished from normal space-time, trapped in a moment that would last forever unless humans chose to release it. The demonstration sent shockwaves across the galaxy. If humanity could make an entire star system disappear, what else could they do? Dr. Lisa Grant was now serving as Earth's chief diplomat. She had the strange job of negotiating with the same alien species that had once tried to exterminate humanity. "Admiral, the surrenders are coming in faster now. 60% of Coalition space has asked for human protection. They're more afraid of what we might do than angry about what we have done." "What about the others?" Patricia asked. 20% are trying to stay neutral. They're hoping we'll ignore them if they don't cause trouble. The remaining 20% are still loyal to the old Coalition leadership, but they're too scared to fight. Reports came in from across the galaxy. Human fleets were not conquering worlds. Instead, they were offering something the galaxy had never seen before: genuine cooperation based on mutual benefit rather than domination by the strong. Danny Roberts, now leading the technology sharing program, had established centers on 100, worlds where alien species could learn to use predecessor technology. But there was a catch. The technology only worked for species that genuinely committed to peaceful cooperation. It's genius, Caroline explained to Patricia. The predecessors built moral safeguards into their technology. Beings with violent or selfish intentions can't access the advanced systems. Only those who truly want to help others can use the full capabilities. This had led to remarkable changes throughout Coalition space. Species that had been enemies for thousands of years were now working together to qualify for predecessor technology. Wars that had raged for centuries were ending as both sides realized that cooperation brought benefits that conquest never could. Kevin Murphy had become the galaxy's chief historian, working to uncover the full story of the predecessors. Patricia, we're finding evidence that this has happened before. The predecessors seeded dozens of species throughout galactic history. We're not the first inheritors, just the most recent. What happened to the others? Patricia asked. Most of them became powerful and then stagnant. They used predecessor technology to build perfect societies and then stopped growing. The predecessors programmed their systems to shut down when inheritor species stopped pushing forward, stopped exploring, stopped dreaming of something better. Patricia understood the warning. Humanity had gained incredible power, but they could lose it if they became complacent. The predecessors wanted inheritors who would keep reaching for greater heights, not rulers who would settle for comfortable dominance. Jake's voice came through the communication system again. Admiral, we have a problem. 3 coalition species have formed a resistance alliance. They're trying to steal predecessor technology by force. Patricia looked at the tactical displays. The Vorthan, Nexari, and remaining Zephyrian forces had united in a desperate attempt to level the playing field. They had attacked several predecessor installations, trying to capture the technology for themselves. How successful have they been? Patricia asked. Caroline answered. Not very. The installations have defense systems that activate when threatened. The attacking fleets were disabled and their crews placed in stasis. But, Admiral, this creates an opportunity. What kind of opportunity? We can demonstrate the difference between the old way of doing things and the new way. Instead of punishing them for the attack, we can show them mercy and invite them to join the new order as equals. Patricia thought about the decision. The old coalition would have responded to such an attack with overwhelming force. They would have made examples of the attackers to discourage others from trying the same thing. But humanity was not the old coalition. Jake, release the attacking fleets, Patricia ordered. Send them home with a message. Tell them that under the new galactic order, mistakes can be forgiven. Tell them that we're more interested in building the future than punishing the past. The response was immediate and dramatic. Within days, all 3 attacking species sent official surrender requests. More importantly, they asked to join the new Galactic Cooperation Program rather than simply submit to human rule. Dr. Grant reported the final tally 6 months after the war had begun. Admiral, 95% of former Coalition space has joined the new order. The remaining 5% are small, isolated systems that want to be left alone. No one is actively fighting us anymore. Patricia looked at Earth through the command center windows. The blue planet looked the same as always, but everything else had changed. Humanity had gone from a minor species facing extinction to the guardians of galactic civilization. But the responsibility was enormous. The predecessor technology gave them the power to enforce peace, but it also required them to be worthy of that power. Every decision they made would be watched by billions of beings across the galaxy. What's our next step? Patricia asked her staff. Commander Davis smiled. Building the future, Admiral. The predecessors left us the tools. Now we get to decide what to build with them. Patricia nodded. The species that had tried to destroy humanity had instead awakened something far greater than they could have imagined. The galaxy would never again underestimate the small blue planet and its stubborn inhabitants. The age of human leadership had begun, and unlike the empires that had come before, this one would be built on hope rather than fear, on cooperation rather than domination, on the simple human belief that tomorrow could always be better than today. The predecessors had chosen their inheritors well. Captain Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of his ship, the UES Thunderstrike. He looked out at the biggest fleet Earth had ever built. 12 huge ships floated in space around him. Each ship was over 2 kilometers long and packed with weapons that no alien had ever seen before. Admiral Lisa Carter was in charge of the whole fleet. Her ship, the UES Sovereign, was the biggest of them all. She had been planning this mission for 3 years. Today, humanity would leave the safety of their home system for the first time since the aliens attacked their colonies. The attack had happened 20 years ago. The Zephyrian Empire had come to Earth's outer colonies without warning. They destroyed 3 entire worlds where humans lived. Millions of people died in a single day. The aliens sent a message after the attack. They said humans were weak and should stay in their own system or face total destruction. Commander Ryan Brooks walked up to Jake's side. He held a data pad with the latest reports from their spy networks. The information was not good. The Galactic Council, which ruled most of the galaxy, had voted to eliminate humanity completely. 4 major alien races controlled the council. They saw humans as dangerous pests that needed to be removed. "Sir, the intelligence is confirmed," Ryan said quietly. "The council has labeled us a threat species. They're planning to attack our system within the year." Jake nodded. He had expected this news. Humanity had been preparing for war since the first alien attack. They had built new weapons, new ships, and new technology that the galaxy had never seen. The aliens thought humans were primitive because they used different methods than other species. Lieutenant Helen Price was at her station nearby. She was the best tactical officer in the human fleet. Her job was to study alien ship movements and find their weak points. She had been watching enemy fleets for months through long-range sensors hidden throughout space. "Admiral," Helen called out, "I'm detecting alien patrol groups in 7 nearby systems. They think they're safe because they outnumber us 50 to 1. Admiral Carter's voice came through the ship's communication system. "All ships, prepare for jump. We're going to show these aliens what humans can really do." Jake felt excitement run through his crew. Every person on every ship knew this moment would change everything. For 20 years, humanity had worked in secret. They built ships with armor that could heal itself during battle. They created weapons that fired projectiles faster than anything the galaxy had ever seen. Most importantly, they developed tactics that no alien could predict. The human ships were different from alien vessels in every way. Where aliens used energy shields, humans used adaptive armor that got stronger when attacked. Where aliens relied on energy weapons, humans used rail, guns that fired metal slugs at incredible speeds. The aliens had never faced anything like human technology. Captain Alex Turner commanded the UES Devastator from across the formation. His ship was loaded with thousands of small combat drones. Each drone was the size of a car but carried enough firepower to destroy an alien fighter. The aliens had never seen swarm tactics before. They were used to big ships fighting other big ships in straight lines. The jump drives began to charge. These drives were another human invention that aliens didn't understand. Most species used slow hyperspace tunnels that took days to travel between systems. Human ships could appear anywhere in the galaxy within hours. This gave them a huge advantage in surprise attacks. Jake remembered his father, who had died defending one of the colonies 20 years ago. His father had been a simple farmer, but he fought the aliens with an old hunting rifle until the end. That spirit of never giving up was what made humans different from every other species in the galaxy. The aliens thought they understood warfare. They had been fighting the same way for thousands of years. Big fleets would meet in open space and exchange fire until one side retreated. They followed rules and traditions that made their battles predictable. Humans didn't follow any rules except winning. "Jump drive at full charge," reported the navigation officer. "All ships ready for departure." Admiral Carter's voice filled every ship in the fleet. "Today we stop hiding. Today we stop running. The galaxy thinks humans are weak because we haven't shown them our true strength. They're about to learn that the most dangerous thing in the universe is a human who has nothing left to lose. The alien empires had made a fatal mistake. They assumed that because humans were new to space travel, they would be easy to defeat. They didn't understand that humans had been fighting wars on their home planet for thousands of years. Every battle technique, every strategy, and every weapon design had been tested in the most brutal conflicts imaginable. Jake looked at his crew one more time. Each person had lost family or friends in the alien attacks. They were not just soldiers. They were survivors seeking justice. The aliens had awakened something in humanity that they would soon regret. The jump drives activated, and 12 human dreadnoughts disappeared from Earth's solar system. They reappeared seconds later in alien space, ready to begin the war that would reshape the entire galaxy. The age of human weakness was over. The age of human dominance was about to begin. The human fleet appeared in the Kepler 442 system like ghosts materializing from nothing. 12 massive ships hung in space near the outer planets, their dark hulls reflecting the light of the distant star. The aliens detected them immediately, but they were not worried. Admiral Vexithara commanded the Zephyrian patrol fleet from his flagship. He had 40 ships under his command, including 8 heavy cruisers and 32 fighters. His sensors showed only 12 human vessels. Aliens had faced human ships before during the colony attacks. They remembered weak weapons and thin armor that broke easily. "Primitive species approaching our patrol zone," reported Vexithara's tactical officer. "Should we destroy them immediately or capture some for study?" Vexithara looked at the human ships on his main screen. They were much larger than the colony defense ships from 20 years ago, but size meant nothing if the weapons were weak. "Send a warning transmission first. Let them surrender and save us the trouble of cleaning up debris." The warning message was broadcast to the human fleet. It told them to leave immediately or be destroyed. Admiral Carter received the message on the UES Sovereign and smiled. The aliens still thought humans were the same weak species they had defeated before. "All ships, engage enemy targets," Carter ordered. "Show them what we've learned." Captain Jake Morrison gave the firing command on the UES Thunderstrike. The ship's main railgun charged for 3 seconds, then fired a tungsten slug the size of a telephone pole. The projectile accelerated to 30% of light speed in less than a second. The alien flagship's energy shields were designed to stop energy weapons and slow-moving missiles. They were not designed to stop a chunk of metal moving at incredible speed. The tungsten slug punched through the shields like they were made of paper. It hit the alien ship's hull and went completely through the vessel from front to back. Vexithara watched in shock as his flagship broke apart around him. Emergency alarms screamed throughout the ship as atmosphere leaked into space. Half of his crew was dead in the first few seconds of the battle. He had never seen a weapon that could penetrate their shields so easily. Captain Alex Turner's ship, the UES Devastator, released its combat drones. Thousands of small machines poured out of launch bays like angry insects. Each drone was equipped with a micro-fusion charge and advanced targeting systems. The aliens had never seen anything like swarm tactics before. The Zephyrian fighters tried to shoot down the drones, but there were too many of them. For every drone they destroyed, 10 more took its place. The drones moved in patterns that confused the alien targeting computers. They attacked from all directions at once, overwhelming the enemy's ability to defend themselves. Lieutenant Helen Price coordinated the attack from her position on the Thunderstrike. She had studied alien tactics for years and knew exactly how they would respond. The aliens always formed defensive circles when attacked. This made them easy targets for human weapons. "Enemy ships moving into Formation 7, Helen reported. "Predicted response confirmed. All ships, execute flanking. Maneuver." The human ships used their advanced jump drives to disappear and reappear in different positions around the alien fleet. The aliens found themselves surrounded by enemies that could move instantly to any location. Their formation, which should have protected them, became a trap. Commander Ryan Brooks watched the battle from the bridge of the UES Sovereign. The human ships were taking heavy fire from alien energy weapons, but their adaptive armor was working perfectly. Each hit made the armor stronger and fed energy back into the ship's weapon systems. The harder the aliens fought, the more powerful the human ships became. The manted ships in the patrol fleet tried a different approach. They launched waves of guided missiles at the human vessels. The missiles were fast and carried powerful warheads that could destroy most alien ships. But human point defense systems were unlike anything the galaxy had seen before. Captain Steve Parker commanded the UES Retribution, which specialized in defensive operations. His ship's laser grid fired thousands of beams per second, creating a wall of light that destroyed incoming missiles. The system was so fast and accurate that not a single missile reached any human ship. The battle lasted 4 hours, but the outcome was decided in the first few minutes. One by one, alien ships were destroyed or disabled. The humans used precision strikes to take out enemy weapons and engines without killing the entire crew. This confused the aliens even more than the advanced technology. Vexithara managed to reach an escape pod before his flagship exploded. As he floated in space waiting for rescue, he watched the human ships destroy his entire fleet. Not a single human vessel was even damaged. This was impossible, according to everything the Galactic Council knew about warfare. The last alien ship tried to escape using its hyperspace drive. Captain Morrison's ship appeared directly in front of it, blocking the escape route. The alien captain surrendered immediately, knowing that resistance was hopeless. Admiral Carter opened communication channels to all the surviving aliens. Tell your leaders what you have seen here today. Humanity is no longer the weak species you attacked 20 years ago. We have grown stronger, and we remember what you did to our people. The human fleet collected data from the destroyed alien ships. Engineers studied the wreckage to understand enemy technology better. Intelligence officers questioned the survivors to learn about alien military plans. Every piece of information would help humanity prepare for the larger war that was coming. News of the battle spread across the galaxy faster than light. Species that had considered humans primitive pests suddenly found themselves reevaluating everything they thought they knew. The Galactic Council called emergency meetings to discuss this new threat. The human fleet prepared to leave the system. They had sent their message clearly. Earth's children were no longer hiding in their home system. They were coming for their enemies, and they would not show mercy to those who had shown none to humanity. The Galactic Council chamber had never been so crowded. Representatives from every major empire sat around the massive circular table, their faces showing fear and anger. The holographic display in the center showed the wreckage of the Zephyrian patrol fleet. 40 alien ships destroyed by 12 human vessels with 0 human losses. High Chancellor Mordak of the Crystalline Hegemony spoke first. His crystal body pulsed with red light, indicating extreme agitation. These humans must be stopped before they become a greater threat. Their technology is far beyond what our intelligence predicted. The manted Queen Speaker's multiple eyes focused on the battle recordings. Our analysis shows their weapons fire projectiles at speeds we thought impossible. Their armor adapts to damage and grows stronger during combat. This is not primitive technology. Admiral Kretak of the Void. Walkers slammed his clawed hand on the table. 20 years ago, humans were barely capable of spaceflight. How did they advance so quickly? The Zephyrian Emperor's representative, General Vexmore, shared the survivor reports. Our pilots describe weapons that ignore energy shields completely. Their ships can appear anywhere instantly using some kind of advanced jump technology. They fight like no species we have ever encountered. Commander Beth Williams sat in her hidden observation post 3 star systems away. Human intelligence had developed ways to monitor alien communications without being detected. She listened to every word of the council meeting through devices planted months earlier. The alien leaders were scared, and scared enemies made dangerous decisions. Beth recorded everything for Admiral Carter and the human command staff. This information would help humanity prepare for what was coming next. "I propose we mobilize the combined fleet," declared High Chancellor Mordak. "Every empire will contribute ships and crews. We will gather 800 vessels and crush humanity before they can threaten our worlds." The room fell silent. 800 ships was the largest military force ever assembled in galactic history. No single species had ever faced such overwhelming numbers. The aliens believed this would end the human threat permanently. Queen Speaker of the Mantids agreed immediately. "My people will contribute 200 ships, including our newest battle cruisers. The humans will face the full might of the galaxy." Emperor Kretok nodded his approval. "The Void Walkers will send 150 vessels. Our dark matter weapons will tear through any armor these humans have developed." General Vexmore spoke for his empire. "The Zephyrians commit 200 ships to this fleet. We have a debt to settle with humanity for our losses. The crystalline hegemony would provide the remaining ships and serve as the command center for the operation." Their crystal technology was the most advanced in the galaxy for coordination and communication between different species. But the aliens made a critical mistake in their planning. They assumed humans would wait in their home system for the attack. They believed humans thought like other galactic species, who preferred defensive strategies and familiar territory. Admiral Carter received Beth's intelligence report within hours of the council meeting. The human command staff gathered on the UES Sovereign to discuss their response. The situation looked impossible. 800 alien ships against 12 human vessels was not a battle any military commander would want to fight. "They're planning to blockade our system and starve us out," reported Captain Morrison. "Standard galactic strategy: surround the enemy and wait for surrender." Captain Alex Turner studied the alien fleet compositions. 800 ships from 4 different empires. They'll have communication problems and command structure issues. Different species use different tactics. Commander Ryan Brooks brought up star charts showing alien military bases. "The combined fleet will take months to assemble. They're gathering ships from across the galaxy. That gives us time to act first." Admiral Carter made a decision that shocked everyone in the room. Instead of preparing defenses around Earth, she would take the fight directly to the enemy. The human fleet would strike at the heart of galactic civilization while the alien armies were still assembling. "We're going to attack their homeworlds," Carter announced. "While they're gathering ships to destroy us, we'll hit their capitals and military centers. They'll never expect us to be that bold." Lieutenant Helen Price pulled up tactical displays of the Galactic Core region. "Sir, their home systems are the most heavily defended in the galaxy. Each capital world has orbital defense platforms and permanent guard fleets." "Exactly," Carter replied. "They think those defenses make them safe, but they've never faced human tactics before. We're going to teach them that nowhere is safe from human reach." The plan was incredibly risky. 12 ships against the entire Galactic Core seemed like suicide. But humans had advantages that aliens didn't understand. Human ships could jump instantly to any location. Human weapons could penetrate any known defense. Most importantly, humans were willing to take risks that other species would never consider. Captain Steve Parker's ship, the UES Retribution, would lead intelligence-gathering missions. His crew would infiltrate alien communication networks and plant viruses that would disrupt coordination between different fleets. The aliens relied heavily on automated systems that could be compromised. The human fleet began moving toward the Galactic Core using routes that avoided alien patrol zones. They traveled through empty space between star systems, places where no alien ships ever went. This would let them approach their targets without being detected. Meanwhile, the alien empires continued gathering their forces. Ships arrived daily at the designated assembly points. The commanders were confident that 800 vessels could defeat any enemy, no matter how advanced their technology might be, but some alien military officers were not so sure. The survivors of the Kepler 442 battle told stories that seemed impossible. human ships that could not be damaged, weapons that destroyed anything they hit, tactics that made no sense according to traditional military doctrine. General Klextor of the Mantid forces read the battle reports again. Something about the human attack pattern bothered him. The humans had not tried to capture territory or resources. They had simply destroyed the patrol fleet and left. This was not the behavior of a species seeking conquest. They're not trying to build an empire, he told his staff. They're sending a message. The question is, what comes after the message? The answer was coming sooner than any alien expected. While the combined fleet slowly assembled, 12 human dreadnoughts were already approaching the most protected systems in the galaxy. The aliens were about to learn that their greatest mistake was assuming humans would fight like everyone else. The crystalline hegemony capital world of Nexus Prime had not seen enemy ships in over 1,000 years. Massive orbital defense platforms surrounded the planet like metal moons. Each platform carried enough firepower to destroy entire fleets. The permanent guard fleet consisted of 50 heavy battleships that had never been defeated in combat. High Chancellor Mordak stood in his crystal palace, watching the sunrise over his empire's greatest city. Billions of crystal beings lived on the planet's surface, going about their daily lives without fear. The combined fleet was nearly ready to crush humanity. Soon, the alien threat would be eliminated forever. At exactly noon local time, 3 human dreadnoughts appeared directly above the capital city. The UES Vengeance, UES Devastator, and UES Retribution materialized from hyperspace without any warning. The orbital defense platforms immediately opened fire with their most powerful weapons. Captain Maria Santos commanded the UES Vengeance as it dove toward the largest defense platform. Alien energy beams struck her ship's adaptive armor, but instead of causing damage, they fed power back into the human weapons systems. The platform's guns were actually making the human ship stronger. The Vengeance fired a single railgun round at the defense platform. The tungsten slug hit the station's power core and traveled completely through the structure. Secondary explosions tore the platform apart in seconds. Debris rained down on the planet below, but it fell in empty areas away from civilian populations. Captain Alex Turner's ship, the Devastator, released its combat drone swarms. Thousands of small machines surrounded the guard fleet's battleships like angry insects. The aliens tried to fight back, but their weapons could not track targets moving so fast and in such numbers. Each drone carried a microfusion charge designed to disable rather than destroy. They attached themselves to alien weapon systems, shield, generators, and engine units. When they exploded, the battleships were left floating helplessly in space, with their crews still alive. Captain Steve Parker used the Retribution to hack into the planetary communication networks. His cyber warfare specialists planted viruses that would spread throughout the crystalline hegemony's computer systems. Within hours, military coordination would be impossible across their entire empire. The attack lasted exactly 30 minutes. When it was over, every orbital defense platform was destroyed and the entire guard fleet was disabled. Not a single human ship had taken serious damage. The crystal beings on the planet below watched in terror as their supposedly invincible defenses were swept away. But the crystalline homeworld was not the only target. At the same moment, human ships appeared above 3 other capital worlds across the galaxy. The Zephyrian Empire, Mantid Collective, and Voidwalker territories all came under simultaneous attack. The Zephyrian capital world of Vexandra faced the UES Thunderstrike, UES Sovereign, and UES Destroyer. Emperor Vex Kalar had been planning humanity's destruction from his throne room when the human ships appeared in orbit above him. Captain Jake Morrison led the attack on the Zephyrian orbital shipyards. These massive stations built the Empire's most powerful warships. The aliens thought the shipyards were safe because they were protected by energy barriers and automated defense systems. Human weapons made the barriers useless. Railgun rounds punched through energy shields like they were not there. The shipyards exploded one by one as tungsten slugs found their targets. Years of work and billions of credits worth of ships were destroyed in minutes. Admiral Lisa Carter's flagship, the UES Sovereign, targeted the planet's military command centers. But instead of destroying them completely, human weapons used surgical strikes to disable communication equipment while leaving the buildings mostly intact. This showed the aliens that humans could have killed millions of people but chose not to. The Mantid homeworld faced a different kind of terror. The UES Retribution, UES Lightning, and UES Thunder appeared above the hive cities where billions of insect-like beings lived. The Mantid Queen Mother had never imagined that enemies could reach her personal chambers deep inside the planet. Lieutenant Commander Kevin Murphy led boarding parties that captured Mantid command ships intact. Human soldiers wore powered armor that made them stronger and faster than any alien warrior. They moved through enemy ships like ghosts, disabling resistance without killing unnecessarily. The boarding teams collected alien technology and military intelligence that would help humanity understand their enemies better. Every computer file, every weapon design, and every tactical manual was copied for study. The aliens realized that humans were not just destroying their fleets, they were learning from them. The Voidwalker territory received the most terrifying demonstration of human capabilities. Their dark matter weapons were considered the most advanced in the galaxy. No known armor could resist them, and no known shield could stop them. Captain Ryan Brooks commanded the UES Eclipse as it faced the Voidwalker's most powerful battleship. The alien vessel fired its dark matter cannon, a weapon that could erase matter from existence. The beam struck the Eclipse directly, but something impossible happened. The human ship's adaptive armor absorbed the dark matter energy and converted it into power for their own weapons. The technology that made this possible was beyond alien understanding. It seemed to violate the basic laws of physics as they knew them. The Eclipse returned fire with a weapon the aliens had never seen before. It fired a beam of pure gravitational force that crushed the Voidwalker battleship like an empty can. The vessel imploded on itself, creating a small black hole that lasted for several seconds before evaporating. News of the simultaneous attacks spread across the galaxy within hours. Every major empire had been struck at the same time. Their most protected worlds had been penetrated. Their strongest defenses had been swept aside. The impossible had become reality. The terror was not just in humanity's firepower. It was in their precision and restraint. They had attacked military targets while avoiding civilian casualties. They had disabled rather than destroyed when possible. This was not the behavior of a savage species seeking conquest. The aliens began to understand that they were facing something completely new. Humans fought with technology that seemed like magic. They used tactics that made no sense according to traditional military thinking. Most frightening of all, they seemed to be holding back their true capabilities. Emergency meetings were called across the galaxy. The combined fleet assembly was accelerated, but many commanders now questioned whether 800 ships would be enough. Some suggested negotiating with humanity before the situation got worse, but it was already too late for negotiations. The human Dreadnought fleet had sent their message clearly. Earth's children were no longer hiding in their corner of the galaxy. They had come to collect the debt owed for 20 years of fear and oppression.